Pierre joins us from there. And Aldrin, I mean, it's been a day when the pledges have been made, which I suppose is a kind of show and tell. These are the fruits that we can, reap if we continue to do the right things. But that's only part of the story. The other half has to do with the soil conditions, the investment conditions that will lead us to those fruits. What is being said about that?
Well, certainly that will indeed be something that government will have to look into. And how do you make sure that you actually you listen to these calls that have been made by the various business partners in terms of when it comes to policies? And a big issue, as mentioned by the President as well, and something that has been emphasized, and even the Economic Transformation Subcommittee Chairperson Inoko Tongwane is saying earlier on, that it is no secret that when it comes to policy uncertainty, South Africa needs to do much better. And speaking earlier on to Rob Davies, the Minister of Trade and Industry, he believes that the country is jumping that hurdle. They're starting to fix stuff. And just to bring in another aspect of this investment conference into this conversation, it's when it comes to issues of innovation and as well as the technology. And joining me now is the Minister of Science and Technology, Mameluku Kubayi. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, Minister. Listening to you speak earlier on and listening to some of the panelists who were joining you, it seems that innovation will play a key role in unlocking the economy.
Definitely, innovation is the future for our economy. If we want to turn the economy around, we have to invest a lot in entrepreneurs who are innovative, SMMEs who are innovative. I mean, even the World Bank released a report in 2017 saying for South Africa to change the economic development tragedy that we're seeing right now, where we're not seeing growth, it's for us to be able to drive innovation. And that's the critical message. And that's why we had young people in the panel who can talk about their success stories, who've been able to innovate and have been successful. And we've been able to explain some of the issues or some of the areas where we're supporting innovators and what can be done.
And I guess it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop at just becoming an innovator, coming up with new technology. But how then do you make sure that that technology that has been developed here in South Africa actually finds resonance across the world?
Definitely. Firstly, we have to, as a market in South Africa, utilize that technology. Because once the technology has been developed and we use it, then we are saying to the market globally that we have confidence in this thing that has been developed. For example, we have our own Uber, young person who's saying, I'm competing with Uber. So we have to challenge South Africans to say, why do you use an app that is foreign when you have your own South African app developed by a South African to grow your own economy? This person pays tax in South Africa, can employ a lot of people in terms of South Africa, and they're dealing with all the issues. I mean, one of the exciting things about this app is that it has an SOS. If there's a challenge in terms of safety, you can press the button and say SOS and get support from South Africa. So those are some of the benefits that we can be able to say. Hence, we have to consume our own technologies.
And just listening actually to him speak earlier on, one thing that came to mind when he mentioned Uber was the issue around regulation, because it almost seems that the innovation is far ahead of government policy.
Innovation will definitely, because remember, innovators are innovation by nature is disruptive. So we will have to adjust, we'll have to catch up, because when they disrupt, they don't ask what are the regulations, they don't conform by nature, they disrupt, they go and make something that we never thought that can happen to happen. So out of that, what is important for us as government is the speed will respond in terms of in terms of regulation. So the turnaround time in how we are regulating, how we're passing policies is going to have to change so that we can be able to allow an environment and create a conducive environment for innovation. But this is something that not only South Africa is battling with, globally all of us are battling with.
Minister, just quickly before I let you go, just tell us about some of the programs your department has in trying to help these young innovators.
We have innovation hubs that young people can be able to utilize. One of the exciting programs that we are doing is grassroots innovation. Grassroots innovation, it looks at young people, whether they've gone to school or not. It's somebody who has an idea that can be able to be developed. We help them. Obviously, everybody has an idea. We have to test it. If it's work, it gets tested. Then we look at it and see if it can be supported. And then we support it financially as the department through TIA to be able to fully complement, to be fully developed research managed and protect the IP. The other area currently, what we've done, we've received money from Treasury to be able to find new technologies in the water space. So those young people who know new ways of resolving the challenges in water needs to go to Water Research Council under that website, get into it and complete the forms. Then you'll be able to get access to the resources that are there. We will take your technology, we'll test it in a municipality through our support. So we become a protector of this young person in terms of the technology, in terms of protecting its IP, but being able to go and knock doors with this young person who might not be able to knock at the door of a water board or a municipality. So this is some of the things that we are doing around innovation. So many young people can access our website or contact us either through social media, Facebook, Twitter, for information, and we'll be able to provide for them.
Well, thank you so much, Minister of Science and Technology there. And I guess that after this, a lot of young people will be going to that website. Here's another young person, very excited to be speaking to us. He is the CEO of Bake, CFO of Bake South Africa, the South African division. It is Ubatanda Mgesha. Did I get it right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, tell us about this space, the automobile space in South Africa. You as a young person, how difficult is it, or how easy should it be made?
This space is really in automotive where there are lots of opportunities. We've got government with the program of APDP, and that allows then the incentives on the import duties. And we've also got the part which is AIS. There's a grant on it. So there's actually opportunities for in this space in the automotive. There's components, not only the car manufacturers like bike. There's also the component manufacturers, which young people can play a role in.
Would you say that there is space, as we were chatting earlier on, space for young people to tap into this market and create a proudly South African automobile?
It is possible. I think we've heard about the issues of innovation, and I think that with the investors here, we could have programs where we partner with the foreign investors. We come here, we have the young people that will then participate, and we can build then the South African products.
How do you think that relationship could be improved? What is it that you think that government could at least do to help harness that relationship?
I think we're already seeing that in terms of science and technology with the CSI, and that is a space that they are playing a lot with the research, and that then helps a lot so that we can learn also from the foreign investors how these things are done. I mean, we do know that in terms of automotive, South Africa does not really have their own, they don't make their own cars. But if we can start with the components, I think that is the easier part by using the science and technology.
What would you say to a young person watching you right now who wants to get into the automobile sector?
The space is open, and I think we've had here today, we've had investors where you have everyone all in one space. We've got the government representatives, the ministers, and so the space is really open. And if you go into all these automotive conferences that we normally have, we have DTI that is really supporting this market. We also have got Invest One, which is also part of the sponsors today. So the information is available, and I think the space is open for especially young people. We've got DTI, IDC, that supports and funds the young people.
Thank you so much for your time. Well, there you have it. Tulasis, I can tell you that in the next few minutes there will be more announcements that will be made around some of the investment pledges that have been made so far. Earlier on, that number stood around 130 billion rand. We expect that number to increase. Earlier on, MultiChoice announced that they will also be investing 1 billion, but more companies are expected to make announcements right now. And then after that, we'll have the closing remarks from the president, who will also indicate what the plan should be going forward and to help him reach that target of $100 billion within the next 5 years.
This is fantastic, Aldrin, as we let you go. I mean, it sounds a bit like it's a bit of an auction, but a very good auction where people are pledging to put money into our economy. That's ENCA's Aldrin Sampier out in Sandton.